This lesson is going to review linear equations and how they are used on the ACT college entrance exam. I'm going to explain how to find slope when given the linear equation or when given 2 points on the line. Now let's head over to the classroom to review linear equations. Okay, let's talk about linear equations. Linear means a line that has slope. So the most important thing to remember is probably the y equals mx plus b, other commonly known as slope-intercept form. But you got to remember that this is y by itself. The number in front of the x, that's the m. That's referred to as slope. The number after the x, the b, is the y-intercept. Slope is also defined, I'm going to write m for slope because we know m represents slope. It's, by definition, the rise over the run of a line. If you're given 2 points, say you have 1 point, we're going to call it x sub 1, y sub 1. That means first x and first y. And we had another point, x sub 2, y sub 2. Second x and y value. That's what the subscript really means in a nutshell. If you wanted to calculate it given 2 points, the formula goes like this. Rise, that would have to be a change in the y value. So it's going to be y2 minus y1 on top. The run, that would have to be the horizontal change, the change in the x's. So that's going to have to be a difference in the x's, x2 minus x sub 1. So it depends on what you're given on the ACT exam. They're going to give you a number of different situations. They might give you an equation, a linear equation, and you've got to find the slope. That's what I'm first going to address, and then we're going to talk about this issue of given 2 points, find the slope of the line. So let's first start off with a linear equation, such as negative 3x plus y equals 7. You'll notice it's not in the form of y equals mx plus b. It needs to be. Because what they're going to do on the ACT is choice A is going to be negative 3, and you're going to get it wrong. You need to get y by itself because this y equals mx plus b, this slope-intercept form, has to be solved for y. So what are you going to do? You're going to add 3x to both sides. The x's on the left side cancel, giving you y. Now you want to write the x term on the right first, meaning 3x plus 7. You can't combine those because the 7 doesn't have an x. Now it looks like y equals mx plus b. Once you have it in that format, you know the number in front of the x now is your slope, which is 3 in this case, which is the correct answer. On the ACT, choice A, negative 3. Choice B, positive 3. First answer you see, oh, you think that's the right answer? It's not going to be. So watch out for that little trick. When you're given a linear equation, it needs to be y equals mx plus b. It has to be solved for y. That's all for that. Now let's talk about when you're given 2 points. How do you find the slope? Let me give you an example. Let's take the point 1, 2 and the point 3, 4. To find the slope, here's how I do it. I'm going to try and show you so that way we place the numbers in the right place because most students place them in the wrong place. They maybe put the x's on top and the y's on the bottom, or they get the numbers mixed up where they go, and it's an easy thing to miss. So I'm going to try and get you to do it in a very simple, organized fashion. Here's what I want you to do. Make your divide. And then put your 2 minuses up here. That's the minuses of this formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you need to, go ahead and label above the ordered pairs. x1, y1, x2, y2. I'd take that last number you see, the 4, and that goes here. And then I'm going to go down to put a number here. That's the next number. That's 3. And then we go back over here. That's the next number here, 2. Then the last number, 1. I gave you on purpose 1, 2, 3, 4, so that way you can see how they go in order. 4, 3, 2, 1. Start with the very last number and work your way back. It's organized. You won't put the numbers in the wrong places. I've shown students many times this way, and we labeled and put them in the right place. They still messed up. They still got numbers in the wrong place. This works a whole lot easier. All you got to do now is do the math at the top and bottom separately. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. On the ACT, they're not going to write 2 over 2. It's 1. You got to do that math. All right, let's try a couple more. Make sure you got it down right. So we'll call this example 1. Let's do another one. How about -2, -3? And 5, 6. This is probably more realistic what you're going to have to do because negative numbers always make things harder. Make your fraction. Put your minuses in there. Now let's go back to the last number written and work our way back, going top down. 6, the next number here is going to be this guy, 5. Then we're back up here, that's a -3. And then down here, a -2. We got to clean this up, it's a little messy. You got a bunch of negatives in there. Don't forget, a double negative, that's what you got here. Minus a minus. That's kind of like a negative times a negative, and we all know that's a positive. So really what we got is 6 plus 3 on top. And 5 plus 2 on the bottom. 6 and 3, 9. 5 and 2, 7. Now they'll probably either write it as 9/7. Good chance they might write it as a mixed number, which we all know that'll be 1 and 2/7, because 7 goes into 9 one time with 2 left over. They could write 9/7 as a decimal. I doubt it. But if you had to, take 9, divide 7 with your calculator. You got your answer. Let's try one more and make sure you got it. Now I'm going to add a whole lot of negatives. Both pairs are going to have negatives. So I want to give you a different scenario with each one. So the first one is -4, -6. The other one's -7, -8. Make your fraction bar, put your minuses in there. Now let's start with the -8. Start top down. So you're going to have -8 here, then -7 on the bottom. Then let's go back up to the top, -6, and then -4. So we got to watch out for those negatives. You got double negatives there, so that's going to give you -8 plus 6. And on the bottom, -7 plus 4. -8 plus 6, that's a -2. -7 plus 4, that's -3. And you're thinking you're done. I guarantee you they're not going to write their answer like that. You got to remember one thing. What's a negative divided by a negative? And that's a positive. So what I do is I do this. It gives you positive 2/3. Linear equations and finding the slope when given an equation will be part of the math and possibly science portions of the ACT college entrance exam.